What's going on, everyone? Moose here, Cigars and Gear. I'm joined by my good buddy Dave over here. And we are going to be, I've been talking about this and I've been working this up. I've been talking about doing like this kind of podcast with you, kind of talking about different things from civilian aspects, right? Because I'm not military. Are you ex military?
Nope.
Okay, so neither one of us are ex military. However, Dave is a USCCA instructor, correct? Yep. So we're going to be really the whole idea behind the section of Dave and I is to bring you guys um, just, I mean, really just two fat guys, man, just trying to get it done, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to, I don't ever want to be in a situation where I don't know how to do something, whether it's defend myself or feed my family or, um, you know, harvest food,
Yep.
whatever it is, right? And, and while there's a lot of guys out there that do these similar videos, most of them are military trained or they've been bushcraft people or they've been survivalists for decades. And while I watch them, I do. I mean, that's where I get a lot of my information from, right? I'm not above anybody else's level, right? I mean, I'm always willing to learn, and the first time that you don't learn or you stop learning, then you're just stagnant and you're never going to go any further. And,
Right.
and I don't ever want to be there, but
It's easy to get there too.
it's very easy to get there. It's very easy to become complacent with, okay, I'm good.
Yep.
And that's not always the case. It's just like, I think you and I were talking about fire starting.
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways to start a fire, right? I mean, if you go on YouTube and you go, "How do I start a fire in the middle of the woods with nothing but a pencil?" You're gonna find a guy that's like, "Bro, I'm gonna show you how to do it."
Yep.
And you're gonna be like, "Wow." I mean, we've all watched Alone. We've all watched Naked and Afraid. I mean, we've seen these people start fires in wet environments and in torrential rains, and I mean all kinds of things. But listen, I don't know about you, but I don't want to take my shoelace and wrap it around, and make a bow and drill out of some piece of wood that I may never find, and then rub that thing for 18 hours to make a fire.
It blisters
right?
all over your hands.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to make it as quick and easy and
Yeah.
painless as possible with the least amount of energy needed to fire that up. And I've actually put out some videos on another channel of mine, and I'm going to bring some over here. But I've actually made fire starter. It's just like like some of the fire starter sticks that you can buy. I've made them generically, and they're really easy to make. It's something that you and I could make in an afternoon, and we'd have enough for the entire village for a year.
Right.
So I think talking about that kind of stuff and how to properly manage handguns and rifles and shotguns and and ammo management, right?
Yeah.
That's another big one, right? Ammo management. And I've fallen prey to that where, it's like I find that, okay, I stockpiled a bunch of 5.56. Well, I want to shoot my 5.56. So I'd go out and, and I'm at the range and I'm shooting steel and I'm having so much fun. And the next thing you know, you're like, dude, I've got 2 mags left of 5.56.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, what I do.
Like I just blew through like 500 rounds this afternoon, and I just throwing out numbers, guys. But
Yeah.
whatever it is, it's easy to do the same thing with your 9mm, your 40 cal, your 44, your 45, whatever you're shooting, your 5.7, whatever your handgun of choice is. It's really easy to do that too, right? You go to the range a few times, and the next thing you know, you go to lift up your ammo bucket, and you're like, wow, I've got 150 rounds.
Yeah, I gotta get on the horn.
Right. And to me, 150 rounds isn't prep.
No.
That's not prep ammo, right? You should have way more rounds than that. So, having a good 22. I just recently picked up a 22 that I want to use for NRL 22. My son's shooting it too. But just having brick ammo for that. The stuff that I shoot in the competition, like Ely or SK or something like that, or Lapua, I mean, that's very expensive ammo. But I was just at Wally World, and they had, I think was it Remington or Federal? Federal 22 rounds, hollow points, which would be great for hunting.
Right.
And I think it was $19.95 for 350 rounds.
Oh.
So I'm like, I mean, while you could still get 500 rounds cheaper than that, I'm like, Federal hollow points? I mean, I love Federal ammo. You know, I mean, is it going to be super accurate? Probably not as accurate as my Ely or my SK ammo, but at the end of the day, is it going to get the job done if I need to go harvest a squirrel or a rabbit to feed my family for the day?
Right.
You know, so tell us a little bit about being an instructor. You know, me and you had a good conversation about that because I told you, I said, look, I've never had any formal handgun training, right? I've grown up around them, and I've shot with other people that knew what they were doing, and I mean, I can hit a target.
Right.
I mean, I'm not. It's not like I'm out here and I'm trying to gangster shoot or anything, right? I'm not.
Yes.
I mean, I understand grip and you know, and bringing the gun to my chest and pushing it forward.
Right.
But I do have a tendency sometimes to shoot at more of an angle. That's just me and my bad habits.
Right.
But tell us.
That's the worst thing is bad habits.
It is,
And
right?
It's the hardest thing to break.
It's very hard to break,
It's really
right?
hard to break.
You know,
And that's why you should always just.
and I'll tell you why I have that bad habit. Because look how wide I am.
Yeah.
I always thought, man, if I'm standing like this, dude, like I'm a huge target, man. Ray
Yeah.
Charles could hit me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, so turn sideways. And then I think, well, I'm just as wide that way too. You know,
Right.
So, but tell us a little bit about. I mean, you know, like what can we help other people out here realize?
Oh, there's tons of stuff.
Is it really
like,
just breaking bad habits?
a lot of it is. There's a lot of things that you were told when you were younger that we'll get into that your dad and your uncles always told you to do this, don't do that, don't do this. Some of that stuff you really want to start doing.
Right.
It's different, just all kinds of different stuff that you get into, and I don't know. It's a lot of repetition. The best thing you could do is have that gun in your holster and just keep pulling it. Pull it up, point it at a spot on the wall.
Yep, and you know what? And that brings me to a great point, and I think me and you talked about this. They actually make replica handguns.
Yep.
The BB gun manufacturers do, right? Like Umarex and there's a few other companies out there that actually make replicas. And I actually have a Glock 17 that is licensed by Glock. It fits my Glock 17 holsters just like our actual Glock 17 does. It's got the same weight to it, the whole 9 yards, and that's a great way to do practicing around your house.
Yep.
You know, because you're pulling out a BB
Light
gun.
switch.
Right. Exactly, right? You're pulling this thing out, and you have no chance of blowing a hole in your wall or shooting your TV or your cat or whatever, right? Because it's a BB gun, and you don't even have to put CO2 in it, so it's not even loaded.
Right.
So we may actually even incorporate some of those into some of the training videos. Yeah.
And I got iTarget too.
Yeah.
I bought iTarget.
There you
we
go.
Got that. We can pull that
Yeah.
out.
So those
we'll
are
get into these some
exactly
things.
right, and we'll be able to bring these to these people. So just like some basic training and stuff like that, like you said. I mean, I think it is. It's about repetition.
It is.
It's always about safety. I mean, I am an RSO through the NRA.
Yep.
So I'm very safety conscious all the time. Even my 6-year-old, very safety conscious because
my 10 and 12-year-old
right
girls.
because I beat it into their heads their whole lives, right? And or we beat it into their heads.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that doing some good rifle training, and things like that, getting some targets set up and putting up a scenario where we can actually do some of these drills, right? I'm sure that you've got drills that you do, and and not every drill is I'm completely standing up.
No.
You might be behind something taking cover because there's an active shooter, right?
Absolutely.
So you've got to know how to manipulate whatever situation you're in, right? Because you could be, honestly laying underneath a car,
right,
or next to a car, and the only shot you have is underneath the car and out from underneath it, right?
Absolutely.
Or
I did a lot of that because I was security for my church.
That's right.
Down south, so
right.
I did a lot of that training. So
Yeah.
we can bring some of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just for the common man. So the common man, there's a lot of people out there that are scared of guns. I mean, you got to put them in your hand.
Right.
Put them in your hand and shoot them.
Yeah, actually, I was just with one of our politicians here in Michigan recently, and we were talking about handguns and about how some women or maybe even some wives out there are not necessarily anti-gun,
Right.
but they're not comfortable because they've never done it.
Right.
Right? They've never had it in their hands.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I remember the first time that I ever wore a holster on my side and went to slide my gun in, and I was like, man, I do not want to shoot myself in the leg. And it's like, bro, you've got to trust the fact that your equipment is made to be trustworthy.
Yep.
And that, you know, keep your meat hooks off the trigger, buddy, or keep the safety engaged. I mean, I shoot a lot of safety-less guns.
Me too.
I don't want to pull my gun out and pull the trigger and go, oh, snap. Because the bad guy just went, ha-ha, pow, right? So, I mean, you know, seconds and half seconds and milliseconds matter during those predicaments. So I know that when I draw my gun, or, you know, even my guns in my safe, right, they're always loaded.
Yep.
There's always one in the chamber. An empty gun is worthless.
Yeah, it's a rock.
Know? Exactly. You might as well throw it at them or, you know, call for timeout or whatever you're going to do, right? Timeout, I'm reloading. Yeah. Hold on, I didn't load up a magazine. I'm clicking them in, you know. Man, my fingers hurt. Hold on, I'm going to go grab my Speed Bee so I can load it even easier, right? So, you know, we want to be able to talk about that stuff, right? And feeling comfortable and just moving around, you know. Some of the best things you can do and how I do a lot of the stuff that I did was put your gun belt on, put your gun in your holster, and just wear it all day long around your house.
Yep.
Go outside. Walk around your yard. Just keep it on your side. You're gonna soon forget that it's even there.
Yep.
I mean, not that you'll ever forget, but it'll just become more natural, right? So, but yeah, you know, I mean, I just think that you know, I did another video earlier today on brotherhood.
Okay.
Right, because so many people out there call each other brother, and something that really hit me was the fact that brother, or the interpretation of brother, has been around since Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. And when James wrote the book of James, he made a reference in the book of James to that if you love your brother as yourself, you know, and to me, I was like, wow. He was like, you know, you'll do good, right? You'll meet the royal law, and that's a deep statement. Your brother as yourself, right?
Yep.
So that means that if my brother doesn't have money for gas, that I'll give him money for gas. If he doesn't have this, I'll give him that. I'm going to treat him the same way I treat myself. And so many people in today's world throw around that term so loosely, right, brother?
Yep.
And you'll really know your brother really, really well when you're broke down 100 miles from home and you go, hey, bro, I got nobody else. And I don't have any roadside.
Yeah. Sorry, can you help me?
Yeah, and they're like, dude, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, it's something that I also want to incorporate into our videos, is the importance of knowing and understanding the group or the circle that you keep, right?
Yeah.
Because if bad things happen, you don't need somebody that tells you, hey man, if bad things happen, you're welcome at my house. And then bad things happen and you grab your family and you show up at homeboy's house and he's like, dude, we're full, man, I'll got more room.
Yeah, you're like,
Right, because that was your whole plan. Your whole plan was, I can rely on this guy or he can rely on me.
Yep.
And the first time that something bad happens and you have to rely on that person, and all of a sudden that person is no longer reliable, everything that you just planned for just shattered, right? So in that case, you know, what do you do then?
There's no reset button.
There is no reset button. You're right. You can't go back and take it back, right? I mean, we could be sitting here right now and an EMP attack could happen.
Yeah.
And we have to have a plan to make sure that our children, our wives, you know, our children, our wives and children are number one, right? I mean, of course, obviously we need to stay alive and healthy too, but that's the main reason for doing anything that you're going to do. So, you know, hopefully you guys will enjoy the video series. I think, man, we've come up with some really good ideas.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I think we've got a lot of content that we can bring to the people, and
Yes.
I think that, you know, we've got some great sponsors that we're working with, and we're always looking for more to bring you guys more and more stuff. And I mean, we're going to bring you some really crazy stuff too, that you guys are going to be like, wow, I never really thought about that, but that's a great idea. So, I don't know. You got anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, we don't want to give away too much.
No? Yeah, we want to keep them guessing, right? Keep them coming back for more.
Keep the
So,
content.
yeah, if you guys haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. And if you would, give this video a thumbs up. We definitely appreciate it. We look forward to bringing you content you know, there's going to be a lot of content where maybe it's just me talking at my normal area, but you know, I do want to bring my brother Dave into a lot of these videos. He's a very knowledgeable guy, and I think that two is always better than one.
Absolutely.
You know, iron sharpens iron. You know, I think it's important that we are all held accountable too, because sometimes we can actually say things that slip of the tongue and it wasn't correct. So,
Yeah.
you know, having two people that agree with something, you know, is awesome. So, with that being said, I'm Moose.
I'm Dave.
And thanks for tuning in to another episode of Cigars and Gear. And until next time, be good to each other, be good to yourself, and God bless.
See ya.
Take care.